Hello there. How are you all today? It's been a bit of a while again, hasn't it? Now, look, I never intend to have such long pauses between videos these days, but life sometimes gets in the way, doesn't it? I hope you've all been well. I have, as I so often do these days, I've overdone it again, and my body's been trying to shut down on me. So I've been having a bit of a time of it. There's a lot of things going on, but I'm home today and I'm supposed to be resting, and the doctors told me resting means either staying all day in bed or laying on the lounge and reading a book. Now, I can't do that for several reasons. One is I can't really sit still, and two is if I sit still for that long, I mean, I can't even get through a whole night of sleep without being in agony. I toss and turn because I can't stay in the one spot. Anyway, enough of that, hey? I thought I'd show you some of the things I've got recently. I just had to think then, what the heck have I got? Oh, I'm with it now. I've brought a bag out of stuff to show you, and I've realised I showed you in the last video, so you don't need to see again. And then as I was saying that, then I've realised I've shown you this in the last video too. This was a parcel from Nairi, but I forgot to show you that I got a lovely little vintage card in that package. I brought it out to show you, and I don't know what I've done with it now. Talk about hopeless. I'm not having a great organisational run today. Let's just say that, eh? But here's another one I got from Nairi through the week. It was wrapped in this lovely gold cord that I think I might use for something. A little card. And these are lovely. Look at this. This is much larger than I thought it was. I thought from the images that this whole thing was about as large as that centre. So imagine my shock and surprise and absolute pleasure when I saw how large it is. It's beautiful. It's cotton, it's crocheted, and it has the most beautiful weight to it. But look at these. Look at these flowers. Now, I've done something similar to these before, and I thought they looked ridiculous being so close together, but these are stunning. Look at that. I actually bought this to chop up, but I didn't buy it actually. It was gifted. This was all this stuff was what Nairi had moved to freebies. A fingertip towel. I had bought some stuff from her. Oh, actually, well, that was gifted too, I think. I can't remember now. This is gorgeous. I've got a few of these the other ones I've got was sort of by chance. So I thought this would be a nice little one to add to the collection. It's got a bit of staining on it there, but we might be able to get that out. And you know what, if we don't, it doesn't really matter, because I love that these vintage textiles have evidence of their past, Another little embroidered napkin. These are hand embroidered. You often see these though, this sort of thing. They were big in maybe the 60s and 70s, maybe a bit earlier. They're definitely hand embroidered, but some people have sat there for hours embroidering. This is the same. This one's on linen. The last one was cotton. But look, that's the back, obviously. But they're just stunning. There's pulled thread work and all that edging. There's 3 of those. They're just very pretty. And then this beautiful vintage tablecloth. I love this. I love the colours. I love the patterns. I mean, I have some that are similar, but nothing as pretty as this. I really like this one. And when I picked it up, there's stains on it. When I picked it up the other day, I put my finger through a hole in it. Do you think I can find that hole now? I haven't opened it right up, so it can't be too far. Oh, there it is. I had to feel for it, I couldn't see it. So yeah, again, I got this to chop up, but I don't know if I can. I really like it. It's just lovely. So I'm just going to put these back in here out of the way. If you can bear with me for a moment. And then I suppose I'll keep talking while I fold these back up. I popped into one of my local op shops the other day, and you know, I think I've mentioned before, sometimes I stop in there, I might get one item. The last time I went in there, was it Tuesday? Neither of them had anything. No, one of them did. The first one had nothing. I'm just having a drink, sorry guys. The second one, where have I put that now? Oh my goodness me, I know I brought this stuff out to show you. Was it in that bag? You know what, I've already shown you. It must have been last week. I'm losing my mind, goodness me. Oh goodness, I've shown you. It was the stuff with the wooden cotton reels and the little serviette holder with the Girl Guide symbol on it and all those sorts of things. So anyway, I did get some more stuff on, I think it was Tuesday. I got a bag of, this is just pure wool blanketing. It's only, oh jeez Louise, I've got this damn notebook here. I should move it. It's taking up a bit too much room on my desk, so I can't quite fit the phone stand that I'm borrowing on here. And I tell you what, this phone stand is a bit of a pain in the bum because it takes up so much room on this workbench, and I'm sitting it right in front of my face, so I have to watch through the monitor to see what I'm showing you, because if I'm trying to look around the stand, I can't see anything, and I've got to sort of sit so far out from the desk it becomes a bit painful. So I've got to work out a better system here somehow. I don't know how. Now it's pushing on my leg. This bugs me, this background, this pegboard. It's grubby, it was given to me. And I've been trying to work out a way to make that a bit more pleasing to the eye. Obviously I haven't worked that out yet. The one thing I did think of was putting contact on it, but I know no matter how much I clean that chipboard, it's not going to stick. So I don't know what I'm going to do there yet. I'm just going to try and lift my foot up onto the shelf because it's pushing on the shelf so much. I'm getting a bruise. Okay, let's get back to this. So I got a bag of pure wool blanketing, which will be used for probably needle books, maybe even pinch pots. Now I know I said I wasn't going to do pinch pots, but they're popping up everywhere. Everyone's doing them, and I know for a fact they're not all coming from the same source. So as I mentioned before, I did some years ago. If you go back through my Instagram, you'll see that I've done some years ago. So although I've been concerned about doing some and accused of copying, I've done them before. I've done them years ago. So I have been considering doing them again. Okay, I want to show you what I got through the week. A bit tangled up here. So I bought this unfinished project, and we've got the colour coding, the colour suggestions. Oh, I was going to say, it's not even the same damn project, but it is. It's this one. And I was hoping, I only noticed this morning, I was hoping it would give me the pattern for this edging, but it doesn't. It's not written on there anywhere. I did open that up. But I'm now wondering if, I mean, on closer inspection, this edging is just a drawing. In fact, the whole thing could be a drawing. So I'm wondering if I can work it out, if I can crochet an edging that looks like that. I think I can. So I've got the crochet cotton came in the kit, and it's already been worked. Somebody's already spent the time, but I'll tell you what, I probably shouldn't say this. It's probably a bit rude, to be honest, but I'm going to. I think this is the messiest back of any embroidery I've ever seen. Look how untidy that is. My embroidery tutor that I had many years ago would make me undo all that and start again. Look at all that. There's a lot of travelling. There's a lot of travelling on this one that's a bit unavoidable. These little flowers here. But this stuff, look at this. I'm trying hard not to use my swear words because this is just crap, to be honest. My goodness. Look at this travelling up here. Look at this. All these big green. Holy moly. I honestly, in all my years, have not seen such an untidy back. But it is lovely. It's a lovely doily. Very pretty. They've obviously used, they haven't used a single strand. I don't even think they've used two. Let's have a look, see if we can, I don't know what I've done with my glasses now. I think they've used the whole 6 strands. This yellow might be a bit easier to see. No, I need a pen or something. Okay, let's have a quick look here. Okay, I've got a needle. I've got my glasses. I can't find my good glasses, my favourite ones. So I've got an old pair, but they'll do the trick. So that, no, they won't. I can't focus with these ones. They're the wrong bloody glasses. Oh, you dickhead. Now I can't refocus. Okay. It's one. I can't tell. No, it's definitely, I'm pretty sure it's more than 2. It's quite chunky. Let's try this one. This one's a bit loose. 1. There's 3, I think. And this one looks like more. There's more than 3 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6. There's 6 in the yellow. Not that it matters, but I'm just a bit... I don't think I've seen one worked with so many strands either. I think that one's 6 too. So anyway, I am a bit flabbergasted at how untidy that is on the back. I love the bluebirds. I've been looking for birds a lot recently. I've been looking for a lot of I've been looking for Australiana. I really like it. I've picked up a couple of pieces, but I tell you what, it's either very difficult to find, or when you do find it, it is very expensive. Okay, then I've got this tablecloth. It's quite heavy. It's linen, and it hasn't been worked. It's a beautiful linen. It's interesting. I've just noticed this this edge has been done by machine. They're usually hand done. That's all machine stitched. That Italian hem, pretty sure that's an Italian hem stitch. So it's got this bit of an unusual pattern. I don't think I've seen one like this. Not sure if you can see that. It's a bit faded. It's more faded on this side. It's got a centre. There's a lot of fading on it. So lots of work to be done on that one. You know, I have all these, what would you call it? I convinced myself that I'm going to work all these tablecloths that I'm collecting, but when the heck am I going to get them all done? I forgot to turn that off again, guys. Let me just put that on Do Not Disturb. Okay. Now, what else have I got in here? I've got another linen. I thought this was a doily. I picked it up because I haven't seen this colour before. It's not quite showing you. It's a little bit more of an apple green in real life than what the monitor's showing. But I think it's actually a hand towel. We've got this Italian hem stitch that's been done by hand. Yes, that's been done by hand. And then we've got this stencil on the bottom here of these, I don't know, what would you call that? A glass, a wine glass, or a goblet or something. And then these look like egg cups either side here. And this is all it is. It's just, I'm not sure what it is. It looks to me like a hand towel or a tea towel. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's about a tea towel size. If anyone else knows what it might be, let me know. It's not one I've seen before, not that size anyway. It's larger than a fingertip towel. And then, oh, I do have more. I should have picked up more. I denied over this because A, I was very short on cash, and B, I wasn't sure if these were wool. And there were quite a few more colours, and I'm kicking myself now I didn't get more. They're felt. I was hoping they were wool felt. This one is synthetic. I can feel it. It feels a bit like corn flour or custard powder, which has probably got corn flour in it anyway. It reminds me of scraping your nails down a chalkboard. Now these ones are definitely wool. You can feel it. They're very different quality, incredibly soft. None of that squeaky, crappy feeling in there. That one, it's not like corn flour, but it's not the same as that. I felt them all the other night and I was convinced they were all wool. I'm not quite sure about that one now. This one's definitely wool. You can feel that, the quality in that one. That one's definitely wool. Pretty sure that one's wool. Willow, it's Joe or Katie. It's next door. It's okay. Yeah, so I'm fairly sure they're all wool except for that one. So I'll be testing those later. It's okay, Cleveland. Please stop yelling, darling. Yes, stop yelling. It's okay. It's okay. It's just next door. Move in the car, okay? Oh, Barbara, please stop. Come on, I've already got a headache. Hey, I've already got a headache. Can you? That's enough, please. Go and lay down. Come on. Go and lay down. On your bed. Quick, on your bed. Hey, on your bed, please. Quick. Thank you. Goodness me. Okay, now that that's over with, I got this piece. Don't know, can you see that? That glitter in it? Now this reminds me of something. Someone I knew had a dress out of this sort of fabric. It wasn't the same print, but it's a knit. That's the back of it. I would say it's 70s, possibly 60s. I'm pretty sure my Auntie Ivy had a shirt with a collar out of something like this. But it's such a pretty colour. It's got a bit of give across, and of course the diagonal, but up and down. So I've got no idea what this is called. I have seen it before when I was a kid, but I saw this colour and thought, oh my gosh, I have to have that. Now I think there's only about, there's not as much as I thought. I thought it was a metre. It's only about half a metre. I do have a tape measure here. Where are we? Oh, it's 80 centimetres, sorry. 80 centimetres, and I don't think that's 1 point. What have we got across? Well, that's interesting. It's 1.6 across. So that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, when do you see that? So I'll have to do a little bit of research on that one, but I loved that fabric, the colours, the mauve and the, I don't know what else you'd call that. It's not really lavender, possibly, and the gold. My first thought was a needle book, to be honest, but I don't know now. Oh, here's something my mum's friend sent me that I haven't shown you yet. That needs to go back with that parcel. So I've got this little box. I'm going to open it up. There's some lovely vintage braid. Like, it's a very fine little one. Look at that. I forgot that was in there. I like that. But then there's this thing. She bought this overseas. And it looks like to go on the front of a blouse. Like, this is the... Here we go. See there? So I nearly used that when I made my 70s outfit a few weeks ago, but I didn't. So I didn't have any fabric to match with it. So that's what else I've got. Oh, I forgot these over here. I was gifted something again. And I got those blinking glasses out and they're no use to me at all. Right. So I got this little piece of lace, which is the front. So I've got this, which is lovely. And then I've got another two of these. One's in the packet and one isn't. I'm starting to get a collection of these, which is very cool. And you know what? They've all been gifted to me. So I've got more of that. And then this is a piece of linen. And I thought it had been cut off at first because we've got this Italian hem stitch on two sides, or 1.5. This is, well, I say it's finished. The top stitching hasn't been done, like on the other end of this with drawn thread. The bottom has, that's caught the hem here. And then we've got the next side is still basted. It's basted down, tacked down, and they've stitched. So that's the selvage they've stitched down, but they haven't finished. They've gotten to here, and there's still this much to go. But then the other two sides haven't been done, so I tried to roll over. I think I've gone too far. I've rolled over this raw edge and pressed it to stitch it, but you can see it's not even. I think I've rolled this too far. When I looked at the opposite side that's been rolled, you can just see, I could just see somewhere how much had been rolled. It's not that one, that's why, it's this one. That's the one I was looking at. You can see in here, the tiniest little edge has been rolled over, and I haven't been able to do it that tiny. This raw, the selvage edge is easy. I've just got to fold it to the withdrawn thread line. So that ends up being a square, what do you call it, a supper cloth. It's got stains on it. You can see the stains there. There's a few stains on it. It's lovely linen that someone started to make. And I've got, remember I've got all those transfers. I got some transfers from Nairi a few weeks ago that I bought, and then she sent me some as well. And I've got some other transfers I bought some time ago. So I could potentially use those vintage transfers. My poor, everything's going wonky again. I'll put these away. And then I got this, I suppose, doily, tray cloth maybe, that has been worked. It just hasn't been crocheted. So look at those beautiful flowers. Look at that. Not sure, the red's a bit red for me. It's actually a cool red. So it's not too bad, but it's interesting that we've got a cool red. Oh, hello, Kathleen. How are you? So yeah, I'm not sure about, the red's just a bit, I don't know. It's a cool red, but the yellow's a warm red, and it's a warm green, so it's a little bit, I suppose they probably used whatever they had. So that's another one for me to crochet around. And then the last thing I was gifted was this, oh, I just love this linen tea towel. It's unfinished. someone started to work these Scotty dogs, and this is all done with a single thread. It's all stem stitch, is that what it's called? Stem stitch. For some reason I'm getting my stitches. There's a little bit of satin stitch here over here. But I'd like to finish these guys off if I can match the cotton. And then I've got to hem it. But the quality of this linen is amazing. Now I've been collecting linen tea towels for years. And more recently I've been buying them to use in needle books. But I can't come at cutting them. And this one is just so special. I don't think I can... There's something down here that I can't read. There's I don't know. I can't read it. There's another stencil printed on there. But this is just absolutely gorgeous, this tea towel. So that was gifted to me as well. It's beautiful quality, absolutely stunning. So, what am I up to next? I've shown you those, I was going to show you, oh goodness. I am organised here, guys. It just doesn't look like it. Now, I'm going to be listing some more things on Instagram. Hopefully, I don't think I'll get it done over the weekend because I need to rest a bit more. But one of the things I think I'll be listing is this tablecloth. It's a bit hard for me to show you because it's large. It's a great big large oval one. It's got this beautiful print on it. Now I just haven't decided whether to list it as a whole tablecloth or, you know, I've seen it seems to be more popular to say half or a quarter of it is available. And then I've got this, I've had this one for years, it just hasn't been getting used, so I thought I'd pass it on. I'll be listing this tablecloth. This is a rectangular one. It's all cotton. And then I've got this one that I'll be listing. Another cotton one. It's quite heavy, this one. It's a round one, this one. And then I bought this next piece. I think I've shown you this. I bought this to deconstruct it and use the flowers in some of my work, but the more I look at it, I know how to make these flowers. I've done them before. They're very chunky for what I want, and I know I can make them much finer. So I think I'm going to pass this on as well, and it's hard to show you in this. It's a wall hanging. It's been quilted. It's like a topiary. So we've got the pot, and then we've got the 3D flowers. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to list this as well. There we go, all the flowers. But then we've got some Suffolk puffs. I don't know whether to list it as it is or to deconstruct it and list it in pieces, because for some reason the pieces seem to do better. It does have a casing for you to put a rod through it to hang it. So yes, that's all I've got. I've got more to list. That's all I've brought out to show you today, because I am so hammered. I know I've said it before, but I think I'll be listing these. And then don't forget, I've still got these vintage sheet bundles. I'll open these up. Now I've listed these as fat quarters. They're all larger than fat quarters because I wasn't able to cut them. This isn't a fat quarter, obviously. This is a piece some of the pieces I was given, they were just pieces. So it's all vintage sheeting. This is not a fat quarter, this is a trim, this one. And it does say in the descriptions what's in each one. So this would have been, I imagine, see we've got the overlocked edge here. I would imagine this was what they used to do the ruffles on the quilts. Some of the quilts, especially in the 80s and 90s, had big ruffles around them. So I'd imagine that's what that one was. Now the rest of these are fat quarters. I'll start from the bottom because this is pretty. Look at this one. Look at this. Beautiful. It's gorgeous, that one. Now they're all sort of similar tone. Oh, please remember how to fold it. Yeah, there we go. Then there's this one. Look at this. Again, look at this. We've got this big apricot edge with the circles with the flowers in them. Then we've got a stripe and then a floral band, and then that moves into this big floral area, and then there's some like trellis in there. Now some pieces have only got the trellis, you know. I tried to get as much in of each piece as I could. So you got a bit of everything, but they don't all have that. Then we've got this piece. This is in stripy bits. And again, as I mentioned, they're all a bit larger than fat quarters, even though the description says fat quarters. Look at that. They're very pretty. Lovely vintage sheet fat quarters. Now these two are my favourites. Look at this one. Look at that. Can you see the white? It's hard to pick up in the monitor. See the flowers in white in the background? Now I looked these last two up and they were, I thought they were 70s. They're actually 1960s, these two. They're beautiful. So that's like, it's almost, I don't know, the background's almost a light pink. It's probably more of this apricot. Very, very, very pale, almost white. Then it's got these beautiful white flowers printed on it in the background. And then we've got these beautiful apricot and peach coloured flowers over the top. Fold him up. And then this last one, I actually made myself a blouse out of this. I love this one. Again, we've got those apricot peachy flowers, but we've got a beautiful aqua background this time. So there we go. Don't forget, as I've mentioned, they are slightly larger than fat quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 fat quarters in that one, and then this piece, and then this piece. Now they're not all the same. Each bundle is a little bit different. We've got a piece of vintage lace from the 90s wrapped around each bundle. Most of the laces were dated 1990 to 1995 on their card. This was about 95, I think, this one. But the sheeting is older than that, most of it. So that's one bundle, but then there's only a handful of these left. So if you don't want to miss out, have a look on my Instagram. It's Gladys and Maud Unearthed for these ones. And this bundle's a bit different. So as I mentioned, I didn't have enough in all of them to do all the same. So this one has that lovely fat quarter with the white background flowers. It has this one. Now see, this is the bit that had the apricot, the beautiful swag bits. This bit doesn't have the swags, it's just got the flowers, and they're beautiful. Look at that. They are very pretty. Look at that one. So yeah, as I said, they're not all the same. I wasn't able to get all the bits in all of the fat quarters. Then we've got a piece of this one with the trellis. There we go, that's the one with the edging. Then we've got this one with the rose, with the almost a rose colour and lavender. But again, they all tone in well together. And then this is that frill trim that's not a fat quarter. So there's only 4 fat quarters in that one, so that will reflect in the price. It won't be the same price. But then we've got these little rolls. These are a bit larger than fat eighths, I think, from memory. And that's that nice, that one with the aqua background. And then we've got this one is a bit of that same one that was on the top there. It's a bit larger. Then we've got this one. This is a different colour again. You haven't seen this one yet. Oh goodness me, it's a bit firm. I made sure that wasn't going to come undone. It was difficult tying that from memory. Look at the colours in this one. This is beautiful too. They're lovely prints, especially if you're into florals or you want, you know, florals to stitch over for your backgrounds. Now again, this is just a piece. See that? That's all I had. But look at all those flowers you can stitch if you want to stitch. So yeah, they're all different bundles, as I said before. And it will say in the description, it'll give you an idea. And they're all priced accordingly. So I have reduced the prices on this to try and move them. And if you're not aware, these particular fabrics I'm trying to sell to raise money for one of the local aged care facilities. So a very large percentage of the sales will be going to them. And I'd love to be able to sell it all for them. So if you're interested in any of those, hop on to Gladys and Maud Unearthed on Instagram. There should be, I have put a link in my bio, in my YouTube bio. You should be able to find it through there. Some people have said it's not there. When I have a look, it's there. I don't know if it's just not showing up for you guys. If I don't, bear with me while I wrap this up. If I don't do it now, I will lose some of the bits. And I don't want to do that. I want to keep it all organised. Okay, and then we've got these beautiful fat quarters. I've shown you these before, but I'm going to show you again. I'll undo them this time because I'm surprised these haven't all sold. These are just stunning. These are vintage quilting fabrics, And I'm surprised at how much nicer the quality is in these vintage textiles than the quality of some we get today. So we've got this beautiful micro floral. It's a, now I think it's a lemon background. It's hard to tell because we've got all this little green leaf on top of it, which makes it look like it could be a green colour, but I'm pretty sure it's a lemon background with these beautiful little flowers on it. That's the first fat quarter. Then we've got this lovely, now I didn't like this one at first, but the more I look at it, the more it grows on me. This beautiful browns and pinks, beautiful dusty pink. Now I think that is a beige coloured background. I was going to say white, but there's tiny little white flowers on it. So it's a sort of a beige background in that one. Now I've mentioned before, when I was in, I think I was in primary school, I know my cousins were in high school, my aunt made us all beautiful dresses out of these same fabrics, not the exact same ones, the same type of fabrics. And she put pin tucks all down the front. It had a drop waist with a gathered skirt, no sleeves, like a rounded neckline. We had little broderie trim around the neckline and the sleeves, the shoulders, and then a big broderie, a border around the bottom, and insertion lace down the front where the pin tucks went. Now this one, this is cotton, but it's not a quilting cotton, it's a different, can you see the texture on that? It's a beautiful fabric. I've got one similar that was my grandmother's that she used to make babies' gowns out of, or nightwear for herself. Now this one's a poly cotton. I've only charged, I think, a couple of dollars for these poly cottons because they're not the same quality. They are great quality for a poly cotton, but they're not the same as the cotton. So you will see that it will reflect in the pricing. There was one poly cotton that had a mark on it, so I didn't charge for it at all, but it is in the bundle. Then we've got this beautiful, beautiful paisley. I adore this. Look at that. What a beautiful fabric. And as I said, the quality is just beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Then we've got this pretty little cotton. And again, this is a beautiful quality. This one is super soft. Absolutely beautiful fabric. Hopefully that's in focus for you. But that's all pink on a white. Actually, I think it's an off-white background. It's not white. It's not a stark white. And I don't have a stark white here to compare it to. And we've got this pretty, this is another cotton. Pretty little ditzy floral. And again, these are all pre-1995. They've all come out of an old quilt store. This is another poly cotton. So it was only a couple of dollars for that fat quarter. Then we've got another ditzy floral in a cotton. Very pretty again. This one's pretty. It's a bit unusual, but it's very pretty. Look at this. It reminds me, I want to say strawberry fields. There's no strawberries on there, but it also sort of reminds me of, I know it's nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it at all, but it reminds me a bit of a William Morris. I don't know why. I think I've just got the Strawberry Thief on my mind at the moment for some reason. But again, another beautiful, beautiful cotton fabric. And then this last one. Look how pretty this one is. They are flowers. They look a little bit like cherries in the monitor, but they are flowers. So I've got these beautiful beautiful fat quarter packs available in my Instagram. That's what it is, isn't it? I just thought for a minute, that's not what it's called, but it is. Try and line them all up a bit neatly. Can't remember how I used to do them. Well, I didn't do them. The lovely lady who managed the quilt store I worked in used to teach me how to do lovely little bundles, but they were never like this. Now these are all larger than fat quarters, that's why they're all odd shapes. Maybe the sheet ones are the fat quarter sizes. These are all larger. See how they're all different lengths? They're definitely all larger than fat quarters. So even though I'm selling them as fat quarters, you're getting much more than what you're paying for with these bundles. And I think I've reduced the prices on these too, so you don't want to miss out. They're beautiful, absolutely gorgeous fabrics. And let me just do this up. Don't worry, I'm pretty sure from memory I've reduced all these prices, so that price on there is not what they're listed at. It would be lovely to get the aged care facility that money, because they really need it to help the residents. But if I can get any money for them at the moment, it would be a bonus. So have a look. They all sort of go well together too. Okay, I do have some of these. I did have swatches. I don't know where I've put them. I do have some of these available by the metre, not all of them. I can't remember now which ones I've got. One of the pink ones, it might be that one, that floral. I've got by the metre. I think I've got some of the brown one. I don't know. I've got some anyway. So that's it. That's all I wanted to show you for now. I think that I've got, I mean, there's more there. There's a lot more things still listed on my Instagram for sale. There's more things will be posted. But I just wanted to remind you, I'll let some of you know that haven't seen it yet. And don't forget, I can offer you lay-by. As long as you make regular payments. If you need to miss a payment, that's fine, as long as you let me know. Just keep in contact, you know, it's not a big deal. I'm not going to cut you off or anything. Now, what else was I going to talk to you about? I've been working on, got my big giant pad here. I've been working on things I want to do here on YouTube for you guys to share, for me to share with you. I spoke last time about starting an online sewing circle where we can meet together live, and you guys can all chatter as well. We can all contribute. We can all, like, we're all at a sewing group and we're all just being present together. Now, I've been doing a bit of research. I've been consulting with my daughter because she knows a lot more about the online space at the moment than I do. I am a little bit out of, what would you call it? I keep losing my words. I'm a bit out of whack with all the latest stuff online. I used to be pretty knowledgeable, but since COVID I haven't kept up. So I've been consulting with her. Her advice is that we're probably better off to use Discord, it's called. DISCORD. It's an online space. I've downloaded the app on my phone, and I can set up a group for us, and you can join when we do lives, and we can all just sit and stitch together and interact and ask questions and share with each other. So I'm trying to get that set up, but I want to keep it free for everyone at this point. If it gets to a stage where I have to start charging, we'll talk about that later, but for now, look at this. I don't know if you can see. There's something crawling up this piece of agate. It's a mite or something, and it is bright red. Can you guys see that? Let me see if I can move it. It's on the pink now, so it's going to be harder to see. I don't want it to get on me. Can you see that, how red it is? Oh, I don't know what it is. It is bright red. Oh, I don't... We have little, what we call money spiders that are red, but they're much smaller than that. I don't know what that critter is. It looks like it's only got 6 legs. Well, it's interesting anyway. So back to this. I don't want to charge for access to this if I can help it, and that's one of the main reasons we chose Discord. But we need to come up with a name, okay? And we've been brainstorming names as well. One of the ones I like is Keep It Thimble, Thimble. You know, a bit of a pun or a play on words. Instead of Keep It Simple, Keep It Thimble. The one my daughter wants to call it, and I can understand why she wants to call it this, and I think I better give you a bit of a backstory. When she was growing up, even when I was growing up, my grandmother had biscuit tins, okay? And I did too. And half the time there were like those Danish shortbread biscuits in the tins. It was those tins, the biscuit tins. And the other half of the time the tins were full of sewing stuff, like threads and reels and laces and pins and snaps and things, okay? And there's this ongoing joke with my daughter we've had for years about me and my bloody biscuit tins, because she'd open them up to get a biscuit to find out there were no biscuits, it was just sewing supplies. She even bought earrings with the same biscuit tins on them, and you know, it's an ongoing thing. So she thinks we should call the sewing group the biscuit tin, and I don't mind that idea. I've got other ideas written down here. Twisted Stitches, Social Club, SEWCIAL Club, Threaded Together, Seamstress Society, So Much Fun, SEW, Sew and Tell, SEW, The Sewing Sanctuary, the Society of Textile Treasures, the Sisterhood of Travelling Stitches or Stitchers, STITCHES or STITCHERS, the Textile Arts Collective, the Stitching Studio, the Needle Nook, the Stitch Zone, Thread Lightly, Pin Pals. Pin Pals isn't a bad one because it's a bit like pen pals. We're all connecting and communicating around the world. Social Distancing, SEWCIAL, Social Distancing. Surgeon General, I don't mind that one, SERGIN apostrophe, Surgeon General, but that one to me feels a bit more like surging, as in we're sewing on a sewing machine, whereas this is going to be mainly hand sewing. Grateful Thread, I didn't mind that one. Fabricology, I'm pretty sure that's a business, yeah, I'll have to look that up. Are you thready for this? nimble thimbles, tangled threads, sew it seams, S-E-W, it, S-E-A-M-S, sew it seams. Seems like fun, S-E-A-M-S. So inspired, S-E-W, inspired. The stitchery, sophisticated, S-E-W-P-H-I, sophisticated. The Threadmaster's Studio, the Needle's Nest, the Nostalgic Needle, the Sewing Box, or Thread Therapy. Now, they're just ones that my daughter and I brainstormed the other night. If any of you guys have any ideas of what we can call our online sewing group, sewing circle, sewing gathering, please let me know. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. I do want to try and come up with I don't know how to do it, like a poll, and write these down and let you guys vote on them and see which is more popular. So that's where we're at with the group, okay, so far. Because I want it to be available globally, because I want a suitable platform that we can all access. Now, some of you might find it difficult because you're going to have to get online and probably download an app to be able to access it. So if you haven't done that before, that might be a bit challenging, but it's the easiest and most affordable solution that I can come up with at the moment. If you know of anything else that we can use, great, let me know and I'll look into that, okay? I want it to be free for anyone to access at this point. And yeah, I've also written down that we need to come up with a name for it. I've just read the names that we've brainstormed. Again, if you can think of any that might be suitable, let me know after I've uploaded this. If you let me know now while it's live, I will lose them. They disappear. So once we've finished this video and I upload it, once the live is finished, please leave some comments. Let me know what you think. Now I also want to be able to, if you guys are interested, I also want to be able to do some classes and or tutorials through this as well. Now most people are telling me that I need to charge for them. At this stage I don't want to. I want to try and do it free of charge so it's accessible to everybody. It may get to a point where I need to get some money coming in to cover my costs. At the moment I am finding it difficult, but I want to keep it available to everybody for as long as I can, okay? I've just written down some more ideas for things that I'd like to be able to do tutorials and or videos for. And again, this is just me brainstorming. I have had some suggestions of what people want me to do. I'm a little bit limited on those suggestions. So because other people are doing kits and classes on those things, and as I've explained, even though I've done them years ago, I don't want these people, these businesses to think I'm stealing their ideas, because that's not cool. Technically I wouldn't be, because I've done them before. They're not new and there are a lot of people out there doing them, but I don't want to stand on anyone's toes, you know what I mean? I don't want to upset the apple cart at all. And I was going to say, if I was in that position, I wouldn't appreciate people taking those ideas from me, but it's hard because, as I said, they're not their ideas. They've been around for a long time. So again, I've done some brainstorming. I'd like to design some images that we can use as embroidery transfers, especially since we seem to be focusing on vintage textiles. Okay. I will probably release those as PDF files that you can download. And I do believe that you can buy transfer sheets that you can print on. I need to look into that a bit more. I'd love to launch some transfer booklets or sheets. If I do that, I will have to charge for them because I just can't back having those printed. Again, it's a lot. I need to do a lot more research into this and find out if it is possible. But let me know if you'd be interested in something like that. If I could design some designs for embroidery transfers. Now, my thoughts are I'd like to do some vintage style transfers, but I think I'd also like to do a set of modern style transfers as well. I'm also thinking, should I do some sweary ones, because I like a good old sweary transfer embroidery. That could be an option as well. Now, another thing that's really big at the moment are the pyramid pouches. And again, I've done those before. I haven't got any here to show you. I think I've gifted them all the ones I've done. They've been around for years. The ones I originally found were knitted, many, many years ago, probably in the 90s even. I've done some fabric ones. The big thing at the moment is hand-stitched pyramid pouches with vintage textiles, or there's a lady, and I should have written down her name, she's doing birds. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to copy from her. That's her idea. That is an original idea, to turn these pouches into birds, and it's a great idea. So if you want to do that, go over and check out. She's about to release the pattern if she hasn't already. Yesterday she hadn't. But I think we could potentially do the vintage textile pouches, possibly. I need to make sure again I'm not copying from anyone. I'd like to talk a bit about what slow stitch is. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about that again recently. There's been a few people doing series on YouTube. I started watching some of those, and my ideas, my understanding of slow stitch doesn't match up with what they're saying. What I've been taught is a little bit different. So I don't know whether to come on and talk about what I know about slow stitch. I don't know. You know, what is it and what does it mean to me? And then do some examples of it. I'm just a bit hesitant because I know there are other people doing it. But as I said, what they're talking about is not the same as what I'm aware of. I probably need to watch a few more. I've only watched 2 or 3 of their videos, and I believe they're up to 6 or 7 now. One lady is anyway. There are others. I'd like to do possibly I've seen some slow stitched vintage textile bunting. Okay, but I'm thinking of changing that up a bit and doing a banner. Do you remember those? When I was younger, I always wanted this textile banner to hang in my lounge room above the archway. And I believe I think they might have come out of India, and they were sort of, you know, this big rectangle strip with these bits hanging with tassels. Now I'm thinking maybe we could do something like that in vintage textile collage. I think that'd look cool. I've done a couple of the slow stitched vintage collaged zippered pouches. We could do some of them maybe if anyone's interested. Another thing I was thinking of, I dye a lot of my own threads. So not all of them. I use a lot of vintage threads, but I dye a lot of like a perlite that I use a lot. I say dye, it's more of paint. I sort of paint the colours on so I get variegated threads a lot of the time. And I also do stranded cottons, like DMC cottons. I colour those myself. and I also do wool. So I was wondering if I should do some tutorials on how to do that, if you're interested in learning to colour your own threads. That's something else we can do. Another thing I was thinking of was maybe doing a tutorial or a series on what I call emotional stitching or memory keeping. And we can do that either in a slow stitch journal or like a scroll or something. That's something else we can touch on, some emotional stitching, because I think that can be quite good. It can be very healing. It can be very calming and grounding. What else? I was thinking we can also arrange some swaps. We can all get on and make something. For example, I saw one lady did hexagons. So she had, I don't know, they were about so big, a hexagon, and they were decorated. So one of them had smaller hexagons on it. Some of them were embroidered, and they were turned into little hexagon pin cushions. So that's just one idea. We could do something like that, something small and rather simple. I mean, I know some people are going to go to a lot of detail, and that's okay. But I was thinking we can do some swaps. We can all get on and make something that's the same. So we'll do a hexagon pin cushion, for example, or we can all do I don't know, a rectangular vintage textile pin cushion, or we can all do, I'm stuck on pin cushions obviously, we can all do a tiny little zippered pouch, a little coin purse, or we'll pick a topic and then we can swap them with each other. We can do some, I was thinking I'm not sure whether to make it into a book or not because it's a bit of work, but I'd like to do a series on different embroidery stitches. There are a lot. I have learned a lot over the years, and you know what? I only use a handful of them. All these years later, I use a running stitch, I use a straight stitch, a back stitch, a stem stitch, blanket stitch, button stitch, drizzle stitch, buttonhole bar stitch, Italian hem stitch, insertion stitch. That's about all I really use. So all these other stitches, I don't know. Oh, I like a colonial knot. I don't like French knots. I do like a good colonial knot. Sometimes I'll do a turkey stitch. It depends what effect I want. But out of all the stitches I've learned, there's not a great deal I use. So we can do a series on different stitches. Also thought we could do a bit of visible mending. That's a good one. Now, visible mending is mainly known to do on your clothing, to repair worn clothing or holes in clothing. But I use it in my stitching, I use it sometimes in the needle books, in the collages, there's a lot of things you can do with it. So we can do a series on visible mending. I've got a lot of people asking me to do well, I called it a textile vessel, but it's now been called a pinch pot. That seems to be the thing at the moment. It's the same thing. It's done the same way. We could potentially do something like that. We could do a textile vessel maybe. I thought I could show you how to make those finger pin cushions. I've been doing them for years. I used to do a whole heap for the Red Cross coffee shop and sit them on the counter and sell them for a couple of dollars and make some money for the Red Cross shop. I've done them for the nursing home. I've done them for all sorts of things. I've been making them for 30 odd years, to be honest. And, they just slip over your finger and it's a little sort of triangular shape. Very easy to make. I could potentially show you how to do those. I still want to do the Zoken cloths, the Japanese cloths that I've spoken about. I thought we could make a textile thread catcher. That's something a bit different. I haven't seen many people with those. We could do something like that. And it's mainly just when you're doing your embroidery and your stitching, some people have got a jar that they keep, you know, an aught jar. They keep their threads in, their scrappy bits that you can't really stitch with anymore. But we could make a textile one. I've seen a bit lately images of patched work coffee cups. Now they're AI, they're artificial intelligence. Yesterday I saw coffee pots. They weren't teapots, but they were coffee pots, and they were patchwork. Now I've been trying to work out, and I know Nairi's trying to work out as well. I've spoken to her about it. Trying to work out if we can. There is a pattern there. We've both found a pattern or a tutorial on how to make them. But I'm not satisfied with that one. I want to refine it more. I haven't even opened the pattern. I don't know how it's done. But I'm trying to come up with a way to create a patchwork or textile collage coffee cup. I don't know what the hell we could use it for. Possibly a thread catcher or a thread keeper. But I'm trying to work out how I can design and make a textile collage cup out of fabric. I've written down here insertion stitches, but that probably just goes along with embroidery stitches, you know, learning different stitches. I have made in the past, which some people have been asking about, textile bracelets or bangles. Bangles are a bit easier. Or we can make a cuff, like a fabric cuff to wear. I'm a bit hesitant because, you know, how many people wear them? I wear the bangles if I go out. I've made them out of fabric. I wear them sometimes. I'd like to do some necklaces from vintage textiles. That's something else we can do. We can make beads out of textiles, you know, all sorts of things there. We can do those big, I've done these before, you know, those big crocheted bags out of fabric. You strip the fabric and make strips and crochet it. We can do that. Rice bags, Japanese rice bags. I've done those. We can do those, but I've done a few out of denim, different coloured denims. They always look good. I've done them out of linen that I've dyed with indigo. I've done them out of patchwork fabrics. I've done them out of old shirts. But I thought we could go back to the vintage textiles, the collage textiles. We can make some out of that. I didn't bring one out to show you. I'm sorry. I've got one in on the table. I've already spoken about the transfer designs. We can make some textile beads. I mentioned that a minute ago. That would sort of fall in with the necklaces, I think, out of textiles. The woven beads and buttons. We could come back to showing how to do a Suffolk puff or a folded hexagon. Some people don't know how to do that. We can do that. Even quilt as you go hexagons. Now again, they're just things that I was brainstorming the other night after our last live. Throw some more ideas at me. If there's something else you'd like me to show you, as long as I'm not copying someone else's original idea, I'm more than happy to show you how to make some stuff, okay? So if there's some things you'd like to know, just let me know. As I mentioned earlier, I'm supposed to be resting. I've pushed myself too hard again and my body starts to sort of shut down. I become very unwell. I end up in a big fibro flare. My gastrointestinal tract stops working. I have migraines. I start shaking. I'm going through that. I'm sort of coming out the other side of that again at the moment. So I do need to rest my body and my brain a bit at the moment. But I'm finding that really hard because I can't sit still. I keep thinking I've got all these things to do. Now, one of the things apart from that big list I've just told you that I want to try and get organised so I can share with you guys, whenever I mail something to someone, whether they buy from my Made It store or they're buying from my Instagram, the vintage stuff on my Instagram, I like to package it nicely. The packaging often changes, but I try to package it nicely. And at the moment, I try and include, let me show you. My ears are starting to get very painful at the moment. I'm having another bit of an episode or something. So I try and I've got these little cards. I've got other bigger cards I add too. So I try and put in a thank you card. At the moment they're these ones. And I make these little, I need to make more, I'm nearly out. So this one has, oh, it's in a double bag, you buffhead. This one I've painted the cover out of watercolour paint. I just do a master sheet and then chop it up. It's got a little thank you on it that I've typed. And I just make these little booklets that they're just like a junk journal. You can add to them. Probably can't really write in them because some of the pages are, but you can do whatever you want. They're just a little junk journal. Some little textile bits. So I like to gift everyone one of these if you buy something from me. Oh my goodness, my ears. That shouldn't be in there like that. That's come from somewhere. So I need to make some more of those. I also make them out of, I've got a friend who owns a business where she restores furniture and gives it a beautiful facelift. Chalk and Willow. And she gives me all her wallpaper offcuts. So I also make the booklets out of wallpaper. This one I've added this sprig pink here, and the blue I've painted in watercolour and sewn that on with a little thank you. And again, just little junk journals, watercolour paper, sew little tabs on sometimes. There's some more fabric, just pretty little bits. So I need to make some more of those. They usually sort of come with a thank you card, a free gift label, and then I add, I'm going to tear this one open, I'll redo it. I always add as well, this one doesn't have many in it, these are kindness coins that I make. So I paint all these. They're all got different verses on them. So you always get a couple of kindness coins, and I always put in at least 3, maybe more, hand-painted watercolour hearts, okay? So I always send at least that in each package. Sometimes you get more, depends what I've got lying around. So here's these are some kindness coins that are finished, I believe. Nope, they're not finished. These ones I've done with ink, the background. This is watercolour. So I do layers and layers of watercolour, and then I come in with stamps and more, and markers, pens, all different things. It's very, very time consuming. And then I type up these sayings. Some of the sayings, some days I read them and I think, oh, that's not appropriate. Not appropriate. Sometimes I use stickers. I can't find the stickers at the moment, but are there any of the stickers here? No, there's no stickers there. That's interesting. So yeah, these are all painted, all done by hand. So these are some of the ones that I've already painted. And I also do, can you see, I paint a border around them just to finish them off. Some of them are more visible than others. Most of the border paints are colour shift paint, so they change colour in the light. So I hand paint all the borders around them. This one's got some detailing on it. I try and put colour shift on all of them here and there. If they don't have colour, there's colour shift down here. If they don't have colour shift, they have gold. Some have got more detail than other. It just depends how the master sheet goes. This one's ink, these backgrounds. That's an ink one. This is watercolour. Look at the colour in that one. Look at that flash. That's very cool. I like these colours. Some of them have got tiny little hearts on them. So yeah, I need to make some more of those because I'm running low. And I'm running low on my on my hand painted hearts. This jar's usually absolutely chock-a-block, but she's running a bit low as well, so I need to do some more hearts. And you know, sometimes I never hear if people appreciate these. Sometimes I hear that they give them to their kids. Sometimes I hear they just throw them out. But sometimes I had one lady recently tell me that she was so happy to receive these, and it just made me think, well, it's all worth it, you know. I just want to share a little bit of happiness with people if I can. And if this is the only way I can do it, that's how I'm going to do it. So I need to do some more hearts. And then I make these little tags that I try and put on, at least in every parcel. So all hand painted. These haven't been finished. They don't have any flash on them yet. So I either do the little flowers. I'm not fussed on these flowers. I'm going to stop that design. You see I've stitched around the edge because I just think it finishes them off. Or I do rainbows. This one's got its flash. And I'm running so low on these. I had so many more. So I've got a lot of work to do. Some more flowers. All hand painted. Look, these ones aren't finished either. I've done the flower pots and no flowers. They've got no detail on the pots yet. This one's got a gold band. Just all different little flower pots or vases. Goodness me, I didn't realise I had so many flowers to do. Here we go, I can do rainbows on these ones. So I have got a few there ready to finish, which is good news. I don't have to do as much work as I thought. So that's what else I've given myself a task to do, or tasked myself to do. On top of all those things I want to get ready for the sewing group and YouTube, and on top of stitching my own, I've finished one needlebook. I've got quite a few more started. I've got more ideas for more. So I'm stitching needlebooks. I'm also doing the de-stash on my Instagram. So even though some people seem to think, not you guys, some people think I don't do anything, I'm certainly not sitting around doing nothing. This is something I wanted to show you guys. I've shown you this before. I've stitched this cover for this needle book. Every time I open it, I'm not happy with this pink, so I'm going to take that out, and I'm not happy with this. I was going to stitch these hexagons in, but they stick out too much. So unless I fold those two in, which could be a possibility, I suppose, but I'm just not happy with this. I'm not happy with it. It's not working for me. I've been looking at it for weeks, possibly months, and I've finally decided it has to come out. This is the one I've finished. It is listed in my Made It store. And as I've mentioned before, I don't like the colours. They're not my colours. But I've gotten some really good feedback about this one. Some people love it, so that's great. I'm happy that I'm getting good feedback, because I just wasn't loving it. And I'm sure it's just because they're not my favourite colours. It's that simple. Oh, I found a pair of glasses that'll work, so that's helpful. Okay. I'm going through my swimming bag that I take to hydrotherapy, because I usually take this stitching bag, take my stitching bag with me. So if I get to hydrotherapy early and I have to sit around, I'll do some stitching. I think I've shown you, I did start my January Joy pouch, my, Kate in the Nest one, and I haven't finished it. I'm a bit stuck with it. I haven't even started February. So this is my January one, and I haven't got very far. I really should finish that. But while you guys are watching, I'm going to take this out because it just isn't working for me. And that comes out easily because I've only just basted this in. And this is the reason why. Because if I wasn't happy, I can easily take them out. Look at that. There we go. Not happy with that. I think I'll leave this bit in. That looks okay. Let me close it properly. So we open this up to that page. And then I don't know what to put next. I don't think I need a bigger piece and a more colour to go next. We're not ready for that. I already feel better taking that wool out. And I think it's just this border. It's just that border that's not working for me. It's too pink. It's just too vibrant, and I don't like, when I look at it as a whole, I don't like these blocks of pink. It just doesn't, it's too modern or something. It just doesn't work for me. What else have I got? I think I've shown you this. I've also started this one. I haven't even considered what to put in this one. So this is another cover. But this is very retro, this fabric. I've left a funny little, see that lace? It's not all the way, and that's because it's that pocket. So that's as far as I've gotten with that one. Here's another one I'm stitching. Another vintage, this is just a cotton, this one. Vintage fabric. So I do something a bit different, and I've stitched a heart in that one. This is another one I want to do. I haven't started this yet because I'm struggling with getting the lines down. But this is a beautiful, beautiful 1960s fabric. And I believe this could be Violin, this one. A wool blend. Lovely fabric, that one. And you notice They're getting bigger as I'm going along. Look at the difference. They're getting bigger. This is a piece of Sanderson that I'm going to do. I've got this one's massive. This vintage sheet. It's another one. I might even put a zippered pouch in this one because it's so big. Spotted another one over here. I think I've got more than one actually. Nope. I'm sure I spotted one. No, I know I do have more. Something just fell down. It can go in that. I'm sure I started one in this fabric. I'm sure I did. Or did I? I've got, oh, here we go. I'm tossing up whether to do one in this. This is a vintage. This would have to be 60s, this stuff. But this is all I've got. It's doubled over. But I love this fabric. Don't know why, because I don't normally like green. Okay, here we go. I knew I had more ready to start. So I've got this fabric. These are all vintage fabrics, guys. This one. Obviously they still all need to be stitched. This one. I'm dropping things again. They're sliding off my knee actually. There's a whole heap of trim sitting there that I need to pick up. Oh, they're the bits I was going to put in one of the needle books. That's why they're there. Okay, I've cut out and backed this. This is another Sanderson. Another Sanderson I was going to do as a needle book. I've got one in this beautiful paisley that I've got ready to stitch. What have I got that there for? I've started this beautiful. This one I was told was from the 50s or 60s. It's faded though. Look at this. Love this fabric. I've started this one. Looks like it's upside down, doesn't it? That looks better. It's not exactly small either. Look. And then I've got this. This is another Sanderson. I don't know which to do as the front. This one, I keep thinking something's crawling on under my neck. It's my bloody hair. I put it up when I go to hydro. I tie it up on the top of my head now and plait it and then wrap it in a bun to try and keep it out of the water because the mineral heated water is starting to damage my hair. So I try and tie it up. So I've let it out this morning and it just keeps curling and tickling under my chin, and I think it's a bloody big spider because I know there's a bloody big spider here. I saw it the other day. It's huge. It's about the size of my hand. A big bloody huntsman. So I've got the heebie-jeebies. So there, I think that's all I've got. I've got a feeling I've got more ready though. They're the needle books I'm working on. Crikey Moses. I've got another pile of fabrics I want to do in needle books. Oh no, I do have more, guys. I've got all the ones I've painted and dyed, all the eco-dyed ones, the hand-painted ones. Where have I put them? I've got a lot of needlebooks started. And then, as I was about to say, I've got a heap of fabrics, another pile of fabrics ready to start getting ready for needlebooks as well. Just having a peek over here to see if there's any in this box. Oh, that's a nice one. No, that looks like mainly doilies. There's a car pulled up out the front of my house, so my dog's going to have a meltdown. I'm just wondering. Here we go. She's going to have a... She gets very protective. Can you guess? It's okay, sweetie. It's okay, darling. It's okay. Go and lay down, please. Go and lay down, darling, please. Oh, goodness me. Willow, that's enough, darling. You can tell we don't get many visitors, at least not people she doesn't know. So I'm just wondering if I should show you while I've got this here. I don't know what to do with that now. I know, darling. I'm just looking, guys, for a I'm just looking for a needle. I've got a needle case here. I know I have. I just saw it. How did that get there? Goodness me, that's unusual. I've ended up with, this is bizarre. I've got 2 pairs of these scissors, and I'm sure I only bought 1 pair. And I found a pair on my lawn yesterday. So that's bizarre. Stop yelling, please. Let's go and lay down. She's gone now. Go and lay down, please. I'm running out of patience. Thank you. So that was a bit unusual. That lady parked out the front and got out a suitcase on wheels and then walked down the street with a suitcase. So that's what Missy's barking at. I've got the cotton, I've got the scissors. Where is the needle? I just had the needle case, for goodness sake. Okay, this one will do. I found another one. I think I might have shown you this before, but since I've got this piece that's just fallen out, let's have another go. Oh, goodness sake. Must be going next door, I'd say. Which is okay. It just, Madam just goes off a nut anytime there's someone new around. So I'm trying to find out the front of this fabric. I think this is the front. It's faded. Some parts of it are very faded. Now sometimes this doesn't work properly, and I think it's because the fabric stretches. Now, as you can see, this is supposed to be a circle cut out, okay? Should be a circle. Now what I do is, you probably don't have to do this, but this helps me. I fold it in half and finger press. See, it's not even, so it might not work. But if I go like this, see, that's on the bias, so it's stretching it. If I go like this doesn't always work either. If I try and neaten it up, That's enough. Hey, that's enough. Please leave the lady alone. Go away. Hey, Willow, please. Go and lay down. I'm seriously running out of patience with you now. On your bed, quick. Quick, on your bed. Hurry up. Come on, quick. Go and lay down. Thank you. Crikey. I don't know if you can hear. She's making all sorts of whining, exasperated noises at me as if to say, do I have to? Hey, I asked you to go and lay down. The head just popped up again. Okay, now I'm just trying to, now this doesn't always work. I might get a really odd shaped circle. So I'm just trying to make this a bit even now. Because if I don't, the folding doesn't always work. So then I'm going to fold it in the other direction, and those folds I just made, I'll try and match them up point to point there. Finger press that again. Now, as I said, this isn't usually necessary, but this is what I do to try and make sure it all fits together a bit more seamlessly. So that doesn't look too bad there. A little bit out of kilter there. That's enough. It's just a car going down the road. Okay, I'm going to cut a little bit off there then. Now, the next thing I do, which again isn't always necessary. I hope I've had this in the shot because I'm too busy focusing on this bloody barking that I'm getting fed up with. Please go and lay down. On your bed. Quick. On your bed. Hurry up. Go and lay down. On your bed. Oh my gosh, if you could see this, she's walking to the bed but giving me a load of lip. On your bed. Quick. Right, we're going back to the bed again for about the 5th time. You should see the attitude though. I wish you could see it. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let's get back to this again. So what I do is get my pen and sort of try and mark where that fold is. So I've just tried to put a cross right in the center where it's folded. I hope that's picking up on the monitor. She's drinking 57 gallons of water now. That must have been hard work, all that barking. Cripes. I'm trying really hard not to say all the swear words at the moment. I'm exhausted. I've got a migraine. I'm just over it. Okay, we've got the cross. Now we're going to make the first fold. Doesn't matter where you fold from. I'm trying to do it on the weft, I think, the warp or the weft, so I'm not distorting the fabric. Again, it doesn't matter. I'm just thinking of doing that in this instance because this fabric is distorting and twisting a bit. So I'm just bringing that to that center cross and I'm going to finger press, okay? Now I hope this works. Sometimes I get to the end and it doesn't match up, and the odds of that happening today are quite high because I'm a bit exasperated. So I've put a knot in the end of my thread. I've got way too much thread here for this job. I'm going to go in from the front right into that cross, okay? So my knot will sit on that cross. There we go. This folded edge, bring that down. Now I'm going to come up just beside that where I've gone in. We don't want to come in the same spot because we don't want to pull it out. And then I'm just going to tack over. I'm just going to tack that bit we've folded down to hold it in place, okay? Sometimes I'll do 2 or 3. That's slightly moved off center too. So there's a lot of activity happening around behind us today. Okay, now we make sure that's nicely pressed down. You can use your, what are they called? You get those roller things. I don't have one. I've thought about buying one. Okay, now we try and get this point. I go in a clockwise direction. I don't think it really matters. And I'm bringing that again to that cross in the center. And I'm going to finger press. Finger press that edge. And then I'm going to tack that down right at that point again. And again, I hope that it all matches up when I get to the end, or it's going to make a film out of me. Okay, do a couple of stitches in there to hold that in place. That fabric's fraying quite a bit, so I'm not sure how it's going to hold. Make sure this is nice and finger pressed down, and again we're going to bring that point to that center and finger press. Goodness me, there's a lot going on today. Finger press, and again we're coming up from the back. Oops, that went straight through that knot then. And we're going to tack that point down. Oh, it's not exactly tacking, it's a bit of a, we want to hold it there. I'm only doing 2 at the moment, and they sort of overlap. They can overlap the other ones that are there a bit. You guys just dropped out then, so hopefully you're still here. Okay, we'll finger press that down, make sure we got that nice point there. And again, we bring the point down to the center. And then finger press. Finger press that edge. And then we stitch this to the center again. If I can pick up the needle. Stitch this down. That's just some of that I cut off earlier. Stitch it down. I don't think I've done one video yet where Madam hasn't had a big barking. Let you all know that she's here. Okay. Press that down and fold it to the center again. Now that one should make a nice crisp point at that last one, which we pretty much have this time. Woohoo! It worked. I think it might not work when I fold that last one down. So let's stitch this point down. And then we've got our last point. Make sure it's nice, and it's a bit hard because it's fraying. Can you see that? I don't know if we put like a fine stabilizer on the back, if that will help. Finger press that. Let's stitch it down. I mean, this is a very old piece of fabric, and it's quite worn, it's faded, it's thin, it's a little bit threadbare, so that probably wouldn't help matters either. Okay, now I'm might do more than 2 stitches here just to make sure that's, oh, I might not actually need it. Just try and make sure it's all held down. And then, before we end it off, let's make sure it's pressed. I like to put something, oh bloody hell, look at the back, that's not supposed to happen. How did I manage that? It's all, knot it up at the back. Don't do that. That's a good example of what not to do, okay? I don't know how I've managed that. Pretend that hasn't happened on the back there. That's all nice and neat. We've just got little stitches on the back, okay? Now what I normally like to do with these is put something, so either a button or a piece of lace. I had a good piece of lace I did on one of them, but I don't know where that piece of lace has gone. I wonder if I can cut. This will probably be too small. I've just got a little lace flower. How's that? Little flower. I think that's the front. I probably should change cotton because the flower is cream and the cotton is white. Get in there. I want it in the middle of that petal. It's not going to. Maybe I'll go in reverse, come up in the center and then go. Oops. Oh, okay. It's gonna. Oh, that's interesting. Did you just comment, Kathleen? Because it's just come up. The vintage tea towels. Yeah. Yes, I think I will. I'd like to finish stitching it, especially that one with the Scotty dogs on it. And it's so fine. I have been doing some. Oh, look at that. That knot just popped out the center. I have been doing some single strand embroidery on one of the other little doilies I've been working on. How many of you are like me and have more than one thing going at a time? That's going to bug me that I've pushed that knot out. That very first original knot I did has popped out the centre of that flower. Get back in there, you rotter. No. That bloody knot. Get in there, you rotten thing. Get back in there where we can't see you. There you go, get back under there. So, don't look at the back, but there we have a little folded hexagon. They're quite simple, really. I don't know, I hope that's in focus for you because it's not for me. I'm trying to get it so you can see it a bit more clearly. Made a lovely mess on the back here. How I managed that, I don't know. Obviously not paying attention. I'm just trying to end it off. End that off a bit. more activity going on in the background. And then what I usually try and do, which again isn't necessary, we'll cut it off. The whole thing will probably fall apart. I'm going to cut that loop off. It's a bit untidy, but imagine it's tidy. I try and thread my needle come in where my work is, and then I try and thread it in between the fabric so you can't see it. Goodness me, this stand is a pain in my... And then cut it off so we've got a bit of a tail so it's less likely to come unravelled. And there you go. Little folded hexagon. Put that in with my little... I did a little one the other night. It didn't come out... I was going to say square. It's not even. And then I had a little... Oh, I've lost it. I had a little soffit puff in there as well. But there we go. There's something at least. I don't know what else I can show you today. If I can find another circle cut out, which I don't think I've got any out here. Let's have a look. I don't think there's any in there. Here's some more folded hexagons I've done though. These are all vintage fabrics. A lot of them have fallen out of my bag. Oh, that's all that's there. Geez, there's some bloody noise going on, isn't there? It's a frickin' backhoe thingy. They're gonna dig something, for goodness sake. It's next door. I wonder if I overheard the owner, not the people, not the tenants that are there. I heard the owner before Christmas saying he's going to put units in next door. I wonder if this is the start of that. Bloody hope not, because that's the last thing we need in here. I might have to end this video, because if they're going to have that backhoe dig in, it's going out the back, we might not hear it out there. I hope that's not the start of those units. I'm sure, I was really hoping that he was talking about somewhere else. And when I spoke to the tenants, when they first moved in, they said they knew nothing about it and it wasn't in their lease, and it's supposed to be, they're supposed to be told of anything like that. They weren't told, so hopefully they're just repairing something and not building units in there, because that would be quite horrible, to be honest. I was hoping I had some circles cut out so I could do some, what are they called? Suffolk puffs. No, sorry guys, I've got some cut out, but I've left them inside. I did think I would show those of you who don't know how to do them, how to do them. Oh, here's the, oh, no. Here's one of the finger pin cushions I've made that I can show you. These guys that sit on your finger. They're quite easy, all by hand. I've been making these for years, these finger pin cushions. That's a bummer. I thought I was prepared to show you guys more actual things to make today. And it appears I'm not prepared. I think I've said that a lot recently. I come out here thinking I've got everything I need, and I haven't, which is very frustrating. I'm a bit surprised how much is going on around us today. There's a lot of activity, there's a lot of noise. I think I've shown you this. Look at this. It's stunning. There's one of the crystals missing, unfortunately. I believe they're glass, so I'm not going to readily be able to replace that. It's very old. Well, I say very old, probably from the 50s. I got this lovely pouch the other week too. Well, that's frustrating. I've got nothing I can show you, nothing else that I can think of. Oops, knocked something down. The birds are coming out now. I don't know if you can hear them. There's lizards on the ground around me, little lizards zipping around. Well, that's just frustrating, guys. Bugger. I suppose I could possibly do something on this, hey? How can I fill this in? It's the wrong green, isn't it? Pink. I do want some of that blanket visible. I want to leave some of that. And then the way I was going to fold this needs to be lined. I was going to put it together like this somehow. So if I do a heap of work in here, it won't be seen. And I do want to leave some of that blanket visible, so I'm not sure where to go from here. I just put a heap of medallions away that I could use on this. Nope. No, oh, I think I got this out to use on it, but I don't think I want to now. And I've got this, oh, here we go. These are the bits I got out to use on here. This bit. I think I actually cut out one of these to put on. That didn't work. That's way too washed out. I don't want to cut those up. It's another bit of fabric that might work on there. Oh, I got this out to put on it, but I think I'll save it for something else. There's been Well, I don't know what the heck that is. I was about to say there's been something buzzing around me here today, and I had to look it up, and I think it's a leaf cutter bee. But there's something that's just flown in now that's buzzing, and it's iridescent green. And it's probably as large as a teddy bear bumblebee. So I don't know what that is. A bit of lace I dyed, that might work. Maybe I need to take you out a bit again. Oh, isn't that interesting? Every time I zoom in or out, those messages come back. It's the same messages. Comments. That's what they are. Don't think they're the right colour. There's all those other bits I had. I don't want to use that. Oh, now I've dropped them. I'm having a shocker. Okay. It's too big. It's a heap of silk, which is all not the right colour. That might work, a bit of that colour. Wrong colours. That bit. That's too big for this little bit. I think that's too big. That's too big. That's purple on green. No. It works, but I think I'll save it for something else. Bit of that maybe. There's a lot going on. Medallions. I did think about a bit of that, I think. Maybe. You guys must be sick of me rambling by now. I'm just all over the shop today. No, those bits don't work. It's very red. No. Well, that's potentially a bit more to start with, isn't it? Oh, there's a bit more here. I think I want to save that for something else. That's a good bit, that one. Got a vintage puff. Another bit of lace. Okay. Maybe we can do a bit more layering here. I don't know. I still haven't. Don't know if you can see. I've stitched all this down around here, all around here, all up there, but I haven't stitched any of this down yet. None of that. It's just tacked down, and I haven't really attached that fringe in yet either. It needs to come over a bit. I've missed. It's just missing a bit there, which is bugging me. It's going to cover that, which I don't want to do. See, this gingham hasn't been stitched on yet either. Maybe I should just... Oh, I don't know. See, potentially I could see, but if I stitch that with lace on there, I'm not going to see it. Who else can't work out what they want to do with things like this? See, I was thinking maybe I could lay it's back to front. Well, that's not going to work because I was going to... I wanted that to go the other way, but it was back the front. Maybe I can attach that there. It's a bit stark, isn't it? Let's try and stitch that on and see what happens. I can see a stain on that, which is bugging me. Okay. This is going to be a bit rough. It's a bit thick. This is not a very elegant stitch. I can come back and tidy it up. Refine it, that's the word. I don't know, I haven't given any thought as to how I'm going to stitch this up, because this is overhanging, so I want to tidy that up for starters. But if I go approximately where I'm thinking, I haven't given any thought, because I want to line it, okay. But how am I going to sew up the sides so it's tidy? Do I do an insertion stitch? It's too small and bulky for me to turn it in, I think. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. Now everything is sticking to me. Deep breath, calm down. Okay. That big iridescent thing's still buzzing around me that I don't know what it is. I get a lot of things that bite here, so if I don't know what it is, I get a bit nervous. I've been watching some videos. I don't know about you guys. You might even be some of those people, or one of those people. Been watching people's videos of their thrift hauls, and I suppose potentially some people think that I have really huge thrift hauls. I don't think I do, and I've got a very, very strict budget of how much I'm prepared to spend on items. And I think the most I've ever paid for one item was about $16, from memory. And that was really stretching it for me. I've actually done that a couple of times recently. I normally don't like to go over $6 or $7 for one item. But most of the things I buy are usually $1 or less, and then I often have things gifted to me. But I see these vintage hauls where people buy online, and they have a lot of stuff. Like, some people have parcel after parcel after parcel, which is great, you know, I don't begrudge them at all. But it just fascinates me that they can buy so much, I suppose. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, good on them. I'm just trying to work out how they do it. They must have good jobs, I suppose. I think it's great. I'm just trying to work out how, because I'd like to be able to do it too. I think I just assume that because I often see them online stitching and doing their sharing what they've bought. I think I often assume that they don't work because they seem to be online a lot. So that makes me wonder if they don't have jobs, if they're not working, how do they afford? Maybe they're retired, I guess. They could be retired and have a lovely little nest egg that they can use. Which is good too. I'm not that fortunate. I mean, not that that's necessarily fortunate. I don't know. I've just been thinking about things a lot lately. Like someone I know that's quite close to me, or that I'm quite close to. On the outside, they appear to have everything, you know. They've got a lovely family. They've got lovely children. They've got beautiful big home and a beautiful new car and a wonderful new in-ground pool and the loving husband, and you know, they look like they've got everything, and yet, like they said to me the other night, they feel like their whole world's falling apart. And you know, they said people have got no idea. And I mean, I hadn't thought of it that way because I know this person quite intimately and I know what they're going through. But how many other people out there, I mean, you might be one of them, that look like you've got everything. You know, you've got, people think just by looking at you and the way you live that you've got the perfect life, and yet you're really struggling because you've got this stuff going on. I hope you don't. I hope you're okay. You know what I mean? I truly and sincerely hope that you're all doing okay. But it's got me thinking, how many people are there out there that give the impression's not the right word, that seemingly are doing well and you're not. I do think about people like that sometimes. I mean, I used to be a grief counsellor, so sometimes things like that pop up in my head, or from personal experience, or, you know. So I just hope that you're all doing well. I think I've spoken about it before. If you're not doing well, please make sure you reach out to someone that you feel comfortable with and you can trust. Don't think you have to do it on your own. So I know some people think they have to. Some people absolutely think that it's their problem and they have to deal with it on their own. That's not the case. You know, a problem shared is a problem halved. Is that proverb? And it's true. Oh, gee, I prattle on with some stuff sometimes, don't I? It's just stuff I think about, I suppose. I've got no idea how I'm going to tuck this in. I don't know what they're doing next door, but I'm a bit nervous about it. It's really not okay for a set of bloody units to go in next door here. Nothing had happened. The way the guy was speaking before Christmas, he wanted it done before Christmas, this work. He wanted it completed, and it was about 3 weeks before Christmas. And the poor contractor was like, well, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I told you originally that wasn't going to happen. So then when nothing happened, I just assumed they must have been talking about a different property, or it wasn't happening. And I have checked the development applications, and there hasn't been anything. So again, I assumed that it wasn't happening here. Mind you, I haven't checked for a few weeks, but it usually takes, yeah, I don't know. I should have a look, because I'm very anxious about that now. I don't like a lot of people. I don't like a lot of noise. I would certainly not cope with a block of units next door and a heap of traffic and a heap of people and a heap of kids and a heap of goodness knows what. So those of you who've just joined, this is my January joy pouch that I was following along with Kate in the nest, and as you can see I'm running very behind, but I got really stuck on this one. I just couldn't think of where to go to with it. And it's going to sound silly. I did this, I thought if the smaller I do it, just a small little pouch, it will be easier to do. It will be less time consuming. It will be easier to fill it up. That's not the case at all. I think it's actually been harder to do this little small one than if it was larger, because I still want to keep some of the green blanket exposed, but I still want to do a lot of work on it and add layers, and it's just been more difficult. And I think too, because it is such a small space, many of the prints and the, you know, the medallions and things, I mean, even though they're small enough to fit on there, in a hole, when I'm trying to layer it, they take up a lot of space. That doesn't look too bad though. So yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge. For me anyway, trying to work out where to go, what to do. Oh, I've got some thumbs up. Thank you for that. I don't know what they were for. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd really love it if you could consider that. That would be great. I need to get, it'd be great to get to 500 subscribers, because how can I explain? I'm doing live videos and YouTube keeps telling me that I can't, I'm limited on how many I do unless I have 500 subscribers or more. And the reason I'm doing live videos is because my phone is so old and so worn out, it doesn't cope with me doing a pre-recorded video and uploading it. It overheats. I don't know why it'll let me do a live, but it won't let me do a pre-recorded video. It has a meltdown and just shuts down constantly. So I find it easier, more appropriate to do the live videos. But as I said, I can't, I'm limited to how many I can do until I get 500 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, it would be wonderful if you did. I'd appreciate that very much. And if you have already subscribed, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And I thank you. I'm getting a bit hungry, which is a bit unusual for me. I don't often feel hungry. I'm thinking about what I've got in the fridge. I've got some yogurt and some fresh grapes. I went to bought these grapes earlier this week. I don't know what they are. They're really funny. They're a black grape, but they're long. Oh man, they were good. They were so sweet and fresh. So I went back yesterday. I was on a mission to buy more. I was going to buy 2 or 3 bags of them yesterday. They're all sold out. So I just got green grapes. But I hope they get more in because, gee, they were good grapes. The fruit that we've been getting in my local supermarket for 12 months or more has been horrible. It hasn't been fresh. It hasn't been sweet. It hasn't been... So I stopped buying it. It was a waste of money. By the time you got it home, it was like, even that day or the day after, it was that old. You couldn't eat it. But I went to a different supermarket earlier this week and oh man, these grapes are so good. I do love some good fresh fruit. This is getting a bit... I probably should have tacked this down, to be honest, because it's getting difficult to stitch. I wonder if I can jump over here and start stitching it down. I don't even have any pins out here. So I'm just jumping over here a bit. I'm just going to do some little tacking stitches around here. Just sort of zigzag my way across, I think. And then I'll come back and do those edges. Because just doing those edges, I'm pulling it like this. So it's going to end up like that if I don't tack it down. They're big stitches on the back though. Oh, they felt like they were big stitches. They're not that bad. Where did that one go? That's a bit crooked. Where's that one come out? I'll try and make sure it's flat as I go. It's still tending to curl a bit actually. Lay flat. Let's try that corner. So I'm just sort of randomly, you can start in a pucker a bit, but I'm just sort of zigzagging my way like this. And I'm just sort of catching some of these corners. Just to tack it down a bit to try and stop it rolling, curling up when I do the edges. Well, that backhoe thing's gone down the back next door, and I can't hear it. I don't think I can hear it. Unless that's the sound that sounds a bit like an aircraft humming in the distance. That might be it actually. It's very quiet. It's still down there. It's a wonder Willow's not having a meltdown at something strange out the back. Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it as the bucket sort of clunks. Just. There's a blowfly. Why is there a blowfly? Usually if there's a blowfly at the front door, there's something inside. There's some meat that I've forgotten about. I haven't got any meat out. There shouldn't be anything in there. I haven't had any meat. I haven't had any meat for weeks. I put the garbage out last night, so there shouldn't be any reason for blowflies. They're gone now. They must have just been hanging around me. Oh, now I've got ants biting my ankles. What's going on here? Okay, I'm nearly out of cotton. I haven't gone right up to any of these edges with this tacking, but I might go along here until I've run out of course that's going to get caught. Why not? Okay. Sit flat, you bum. Oh, I can hear that backhoe now. I wonder what they're doing out there. Oh, please don't be units, for goodness sake. There's enough. We're bloody densely populated here now. As it is, we don't need more residences. I'm sure it's time I packed up and moved out to the middle of nowhere. I can't. There was hardly anyone here when I was growing up. And there's been so much development, even in the last year or two, my goodness. And we don't have the infrastructure to support it anymore. It's crazy. Not to mention the amount of people that are causing trouble that can't just stay in their own lanes, so to speak. Okay, so my thinking with this is to maybe layer some more stuff over. I think I'm going to have to do that edge before I do anything else. I think possibly I should stitch that gingham down too before I put any more layers on. Where's that cotton I was using? That's not it. Oh. That might be it. I think that's it. use that one for a change. I thought this was in, I know I've used this. This isn't new, it's a vintage. And I'm 99% sure that sticker wasn't on it. I don't know where that's come from, but I thought I'd be able to just pull that out of there, but it seems to be, my goodness. Oh, that didn't want to come off. Oh, when I was trying to pull out, I thought I'd be able to tear it through the sticker, but it looked like it was buried right down under there. It wasn't, it was just under the bloody sticker. Okay, get a bit of this. I've got an itchy eye now. I'm just trying to thread this, guys. Now, I don't, what sort of stitch can I do to hold this down? Because I'm planning on covering bits of it, I don't want to just do this overhand or sort of satin stitch. Maybe I'll do blanket stitch, hey? If you're wondering about my hand here, that's just a blister from mowing the lawn. I get it every time I mow the lawn, and it just keeps cracking open. So that's all that is. I do keep putting moisturiser on it, and sorbeline and all sorts of other things, but it's not very happy. I was going to do some fancy stitches, but I just can't be bothered, to be honest. Don't like that corner, so I might just round it. I probably should have left it, because I'll come back to cover it with something and it won't come up to the corner. Now I've got to try and make sure I don't stitch this tacking stitch, because then I won't be able to get it out. Maybe I should. I'll just pull that bit out for now, so I don't catch it. So I don't know, we've been sitting here on this live for nearly 3 hours. I try not to go over 2 hours, guys. You must be bored, honestly. Now I'm just stitching. Do you really want to... How about I finish at 3 hours, or just before 3 hours. We've got 16, 17 minutes to go. How does that sound? This is a very long video. 16 minutes left. I'll tell you what, it's not that easy keeping this blanket stitch neat on this bit. I'm using, if you're wondering, this is a vintage wool blanket. I don't think it's on Coparinga, but it is an Australian brand. There's a dog hair. This print down here is 1950s cotton from a mattress. These flowers in here are from a napkin from, I think, the 70s. That's all part of that napkin. This is vintage crochet cotton I'm using. This is called Rose Brand. The label's fallen down in there. Rose brand, Perlate. Don't often see that brand. This gingham is from the 90s, I believe. It was from when I was working at the quilt store, from memory. This is just a piece of old net lace, machine made from something. So it's all, I suppose it's all classified as vintage. This is the newest piece of gingham. I don't know if I'll add all this, but I've got vintage yo-yos. I believe these could be from the 20s. Most of it's feed sack. This is from the quilt store when I worked there, so it's not as old. This is sari silk. It's supposed to be vintage, just a strip of it. This is sari silk that I've dyed. This is a crocheted medallion. Don't know how old that is. Another Suffolk puff. That's feed cloth, feed sack. This is a piece of vintage lace that's been cut off. This is another piece of vintage lace. This one looks like it's probably from the 60s. This again would probably be from the 60s. Sometimes you can just tell the style of it. This is a 1960s piece of sheeting. This is 50s cotton again. This is vintage, I'd say at least 70s, maybe older. This is vintage, maybe 80s. This would be probably 60s. This is along the lines of that mattress fabric. So most of what I'm using on here is vintage that I've chosen so far. This fringing is wool. I can't remember what kind of wool. It has Angelina in it. It's been hand dyed. It's got Angelina fibre in it, and I've hand spun that, so that's fairly new, that one. But it just seemed to go well with the blanket. I'm going to pull, see here, I've got a bit of that. We don't want to stitch that, so I'm trying to pull that out as I go. Don't want to pull it all out at once, or that fabric will start to shift and warp as I'm stitching. You see it's got caught up in there, so make sure you... no, I won't. I was going to say I could put it in the back, but then I won't see if I'm catching it at the back, will I? There we go, it's good. I can hear a motor down the back. I think it could be my kid's father, because he lives down there, not the back of my house. He lives the next street over. Yeah, that sounds like him leaving. Oh, actually, he's probably going down to the club, because him and my son usually meet of a Friday arvo at the club and have dinner. How about that? I can hear his car. It's probably about that time. What time is it? Yep, nearly 4 o'clock. About that time they go down. Okay, I want that bit to stay. So what I'll do is pull that out at the back, and I will snip that off, not all the way up at the end, because I still want that to hold on the front here, but I don't want to catch it at the back as I'm stitching. I'm not convinced I like this dark green around this now. I'm sure it's the same cotton I've used up there. One of the things with stitching out here, bringing all this stuff out here, when I'm finished talking to you, I've got to drag it all back inside and pack it all away. And although in theory it's not that much work, but when you've had a long day or you're not well, it's a lot of bloody effort. You think you're finished, you wind up your video, you pack up what's on your table, and then it's like, oh, now I've got to pack all that. take it all back inside, pack it all away, put it all in its respective cabinets and boxes, and there's more cars out the front. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying really hard to keep this on screen. This damn stand keeps getting in my way. That was a really messy stitch, wasn't it? I forgot to wax this too. I usually like to wax my thread to reduces fatigue a bit because I cut such long pieces, and it's supposed to help reduce it tangling as well. Okay, time to pull this bit out. I'll trim that off so I don't keep catching it. And again, I'm not trimming it off all the way up because I don't want it to fall through yet. I want it to still try and hold there a bit. I've got 9 minutes left until we've hit the 3-hour mark. Goodness gracious, 3 hours. I'm running so behind with this. You know what, when I decided to join in, I was so determined to keep up with everyone and do all of the pouches. Now I'm thinking, I got enough to do. I don't want to be doing all of the pouches. I mean, I do. I've got another project that I need to be working on. It's a, what do you call it? An affiliation, I can't remember what it's called. I've been chosen to represent a company and use their products. I can't tell you too much because they haven't released my bid yet. It's not until September. But I have to record all this content before June to submit it for them to publish in September. I haven't done any of it yet. That's something else I need to do. And that's something I need to do. That's a priority. That has to be done. Because if I don't do it, I don't have the money to pay for all those products. I'm trying to think of, I've got an idea of what I want to do. I'm trying to think of something to do that no one else has done on their platform with their products. Because not because I want to be different necessarily, but because what other people have done is it's not what I do anymore. So I want to try and do, oh, sorry guys, I'm sliding off again. I want to try and do something that's, what I do, what I make. Yeah, I've got a bit of an idea, but I'm not 100% sure yet how I'm going to do it. Well, I say it, I've got to do quite a few videos. That green's very dark on there, isn't it? Maybe I should have started with the lighter end. We're starting to transition colours now though. I can hear all these people behind me and I've got a feeling it's whatever's going on next door. And I'm not trying to be a sticky beak, guys. I'm just really anxious about the thought of them putting in units down the back. I mean, there's a skinny little driveway there, which means that they'll have to use that as access, and it's right up against my bedroom. So I'm not happy about the thought of that. My dog's already suffering with terrible anxiety and panic attacks, so can you imagine if there's all this building going on there and then all these new people move in, oh my goodness, I can't even think about it at the moment. Now I've just stitched that down and I don't want that to get stuck in there, so I'm going to pull that out and trim that off again. Either I'm getting incredibly boring or people are leaving because I'm saying it's getting close to 3 hours, but everyone's starting to drop away. It might be because I keep falling out of shot too. Sorry about that. Far out. I'm focusing, I'm watching my work under the camera and the stand at the moment, so unless I'm watching through the monitor, which is hard for me to see because it's not in focus. Okay. For my eyes it's not anyway. I hope it is for you. One of my feet have gone to sleep, which is always helpful. Not. This is getting a bit awkward now. Pull that out. They're big stitches, so it seems to be holding well enough though. I'm not really getting any puckering there, am I? I've run out of things to say, have you guessed? Is it even possible? There's a lot of things I'm thinking about. I just don't think I can talk about them, to be honest. I'm waiting for a car to arrive that I'm going to detail, I believe, for a friend. Oh, a friend of my son's actually. Don't know when it's coming though. Oh, I'll tell you what. My son's girlfriend's brother had an accident last week. Slipped at work and pretty much shattered his leg. Broke his tibia and fibula. I don't know how many places, but he's got 28 pins and rods and plates in his leg. He had to have surgery. I think he had it 2 or 3 days later. And then on, was it Saturday or Sunday, one of my son's best mates had an accident on his motorcycle and did the same thing. Broke his tibia and fibula. He's got a big rod and some plates and, oh man. There's always something going on, isn't there? I suppose we should be grateful it's just bones and they can be repaired and, well, you know. I know my broken bones give me dreadful grief these days. They ache and, oh my goodness. But I can still use them, so that's the main thing. I'm just not going to have enough thread to finish this, and that frustrates me a bit when I get that close. I think if I'd done wider stitches I would have been okay. Not that it matters. I mean, when you're doing things like this, you usually can't work out how much you need unless you calculate, you know, how long your stitches are, how wide apart they are, how much thread you use for each stitch, and I'm not going to go into that. I mean, it's possible, but I'm just not going to go. Oh, hello, Christy. How are you? I'm just about to finish up. I've been going here. I've just hit the 3 hour mark, and I don't usually go for that long. And I was just about ready to wind up. I thought everyone would be getting incredibly bored. This is my, Christy, if you're still there, this is my January joy pouch. I'm so far behind, and I actually got, I lost, how can I explain it? I didn't lose motivation. I just lost where I was going to go, what I was going to do with it. It's so small. I did a tiny one thinking that it would be easy to finish, and it actually hasn't been. I think it's been more difficult trying to do a small one because you're so limited on space. I think, you know, some of the motifs and things that I thought I'd use are just so big, and it's been a bit more challenging than I thought it would be. Yeah, that's true. They take time. I was just explaining earlier, I'm trying to do so many things at once. I'm not sure if I'll do the February one. I'd like to, but trying to get all these other things done. I didn't realise I'd taken on so much, to be honest. You haven't finished. You've started it though. And you've finished your January one. I haven't had a look. I was looking at your videos earlier and I didn't see that one. You have 4 others. Oh, okay. I was counting mine earlier. I wasn't counting them out loud. I was just saying I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. I think I've got more than 4. I've got at least, where are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got 12 needle books on the go. I've got this. I'm trying to do more, do one every 2 months. Yeah, well, that's true. I'm trying to do more of the kindness coins, the painted hearts, and the little booklets and the tags. I'm running low on all of those. I've got some vintage doilies I'm crocheting around. I've got some hankies I'm crocheting around. I've got some vintage doilies and tablecloths I'm stitching. I've got, what was the other thing I'm doing? Oh, and I've got this, what would you call it? I've been chosen by a company to use their products to make things, and I've got to record the videos and upload them to their cloud thing, and I'm not allowed to share any of that until they publish mine in September. So I'm doing all that as well. I've got to do all that behind the scenes and get all those videos recorded and sent in so they can edit them, but I've got to design I don't know, I have to design the products I'm going to, not products, the projects I'm going to do as well. And I've got ideas of a couple and that's as far as I've gotten. So I need to start recording those and doing those as well. So I'm running behind. I was also explaining earlier that my doctor told me yesterday I need to rest again. I've pushed myself too hard, so I'm having a bit of I don't even know what we'd call it. I'm having a flare, I know that, but my body starts to shut down as well. Oh, thank you, Christy. I don't realise until I sit down and like I have today, feels like this morning, until I sit down and start saying, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing that, I don't realise how much I'm doing. And yeah, the last Wednesday, I started having another episode because I've been doing too much and my body, like my brain doesn't tell me, it's hard to explain. Since I've had brain surgery, my brain doesn't recognise when I'm getting tired anymore. So I keep pushing myself. I have to push every day because I have chronic pain. So I always have to push. And my brain no longer tells me, it doesn't recognise when I'm getting tired or worn out. So I'm not aware of that until my body starts to shut down. So I'm working with a medical team at the moment to try and learn to, and we haven't worked out how yet, try and learn how to pace myself effectively. So I'm still moving, I'm still getting things done, but I'm not pushing myself to the point of my body physically starting to break down. My gastrointestinal tract is not working again because I've done too much. And I'm at the point where I have a very, very, very small list of foods that I can tolerate these days that don't make me violently ill. Yeah, it's been challenging to find that balance. And I'm really hoping that this team I'm working with at the moment can help me find that. I've tried timing myself before, that doesn't work. Like set a timer and only doing that much work, that doesn't work. I still burn out. They've told me yesterday they want me to keep a diary again, which I haven't done for a few years, and try and see how much I actually am doing each day, because I feel like I'm not doing much and they're starting to think I'm actually doing a lot more than I think I'm doing. So that's a start. Well, let's say that's a start. Yeah. I mean, I've done it before, but we weren't able to establish anything last time. But this time, hopefully, we can see some patterns or something. I know that a lot of foods trigger me, so I've had to cut right back. I know changes in weather trigger me, which is out of my control. I know that certain activities trigger me, but I haven't established exactly what they are. I know if I do too much, I'm triggered. I know trauma triggers me. I used to be a grief counsellor, and one of the reasons I had to stop that is because just hearing some people's stories, even though I know how to process them, my body would react. You know, I didn't realise until I'd just get violently ill and my body's just reacting to these traumatic events that are happening to other people. So anyway, that's where I'm at the moment. I just need to try and rest, and it's okay to say I need to rest, but I can't sit still. Like the doctor wants me to lay in bed for days at a time and not do anything. I cannot do that. And one of the main reasons is because it's very painful to lay in bed. And then I'm thinking the whole time, I could be doing this, I could be doing that, I could be doing that. That's one of my issues. I can't sit still, and I get stressed that all my chores are going to pile up if I don't keep moving, and it's just silly things like that, really. Things like that I need to work on. But, you know, I never go overboard. I've learned I've been dealing with this since I was in high school, and I had the brain surgery in like 14 and a half years ago. So I'm not new to this. It's not something but it is something that we've never been able to actually effectively manage. which is very frustrating. How many times have I just picked those glasses up? Yeah, but anyway, I'll get there. Just got to work out that key to functioning without overdoing it all the time. I mean, I suppose I have been doing a lot the last couple of weeks. I've been carting wood, I've been chopping wood, I've been mowing the lawn, I've been doing physio and hydrotherapy several times a week. I've been visiting my uncle in hospital twice a week. Now that I'm speaking this out loud, I probably am doing quite a bit, and I didn't think I was doing that much. You know, I'm doing my daily chores in between, my laundry, my washing the dishes, mopping the floor, just simple things like that. They all add up. And when you've got chronic illness, you realise, yeah, it probably is. Doesn't feel like it though. Like when I'm doing it at the time, I'm pacing myself, I'm taking my time, and I've been helping family that are going through stuff, which is okay, that's what you do. But again, at the time, it doesn't feel like a big deal. It just feels like everyday stuff, you know. But yeah, the body's just not coping. I'm down to, at the moment, I can eat some fruits, 2 or 3 vegetables, not many. I can eat zucchini, I can tolerate zucchini. Corn's usually okay. Pasta, gluten-free pasta. I'm not celiac, but I don't tolerate gluten. Yeah, that's right. It's because I've spoken it out loud. Yeah. I can tolerate Greek yogurt, some cheese, coffee, milk. I can do coffee, thank goodness. But there's not much more I can tolerate at the moment. I've been eating protein bars. I can tolerate them. Egg, I can tolerate egg. But yeah, not much else. I can't think of much else I can eat without getting violently ill. I can drink, I can have a beer occasionally. Some beers are okay. I don't mind a cold beer after I've been working in the yard all day. What have I done with it? I've got to fit all those back in there now. I'm just trying to pack these things back in my little project folder. But I've packed half of them in that box over there. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to say goodbye. I'm really tired now. I'm going to go in and start. It's only 20 past 4, but I'm going to get my dinner on so I can sit down and start to unwind, and hopefully have an earlier day tomorrow and get some laundry done. And I need to get some washing done. Some of my swimmers and towels ready for hydrotherapy next week. I'm hoping I can go to the markets on Sunday if my pay comes through. I'm hoping I can do that. I know I need to call into the shop and make a payment on Sunday. But apart from that, I'm going to try and have an easy weekend. And here I am, my brain's going, mow the lawn, chop the wood, mop the floor, do the things. Doing the washing. I've been hanging mine inside lately, just because it's so much effort to take it all the way down the backyard and hang it out. I've been hanging it inside, which usually isn't too bad. It dries. It dries fairly quickly at the moment, and it smells nice and fresh, which is good. But the things I'm soaking, I've noticed, I don't know, this is something I've been wondering. The linens that I've been soaking, I haven't been hanging in the sun. And then a few weeks later, anywhere from like 7 days to 3 weeks later, some of those stains are reappearing, and I'm wondering if it's because they're not getting that UV on them. I can't work it out. I haven't had it happen before. That's the only thing I can think of, because I'm not getting those UV rays on those linens after they've been soaked and washed, as that's what's causing some of those stains to come back. Oh, I just stood up, guys. That's a challenge. Okay, I'm gonna go. We're at 3.25 hours now. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that the UV, I don't know, I've heard that said before, that if you don't hang them out in the UV light, that the stains don't disappear. And I assumed they meant disappear at the time, but now I'm starting to think that the fact I'm not hanging them out in the sun is why those stains are reappearing after a week or two. Because I can't work out else why. I can't work out why else that would be happening. Because they're spotless when I'm finished. I soak them, wash them, dry them, press them, starch them. Can't find a mark on them most of the time, 99% of the time. Most of the stains come out. But then some of them, a week or two later, those stains start to reappear. And I noticed it originally in the last needle book I did. The doily in the centre's starting to get a little bit of yellow in the centre, and that wasn't there. And I know I haven't spilled anything on it. And there was a stain on it before I soaked it. So I'm starting to think that's what's happening. And then when I've gone through some of the other linens, some of those yellowing stains are starting to reappear. And that's the only thing I can think of, because I haven't put them out in the sun. So if anyone knows, I'd love to know. Let me know. But as I've said before, I've said it a few times now, I'm going to go now, guys. I thank you so very much again for joining me. I've rattled off a heap of stuff at the beginning of this video, ideas of what I can show you this year. If there's anything in there that you'd really like to know, let me know. If there's anything else you'd like to know that I haven't mentioned, as long as I'm not copying off someone else, I'm more than happy to show you. I mean, when I say copy off someone else, all the ideas are repeated. You know, nothing's really new anymore. But if someone's just recently released a pattern or something that's pretty much like that, I'm not going to, I'm hesitant to do the pinch pots, even though I've done them before. Years ago, you can go back through my Instagram and see that I have done them. I'm a bit hesitant to do them because I know there's a new pattern being released. The same with the triangle pouches. I know there's a lady, and it's different, so we might be able to do the pouches. I'm thinking of Textile collage triangle pouches. There's a lady online that's releasing one that's like little robins. There's a bird, a chicken and a robin, I think she's doing. I don't want to copy them because they're her original idea. But the pouches, the triangle pyramid pouches themselves aren't original. They've been around for years and I've done them before. The pin cushions, the finger pin cushion I had on a minute ago. I've been doing these for years. These things. I've been making these for years. At least 30 years I've been doing these. So potentially we could do some of them. But again, I'm a bit hesitant because I know someone else sells them. But anyway, the other thing I'd like your input in is the names for the sewing circle that I'd like to launch. I've explained that in the beginning of the video. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and have a listen to that bit, if that's okay. If you're interested in being part of the free sewing circle I want to launch, my daughter and I brainstormed some names for the group. I'd like to know if there's any there that you think are good. There's one that my daughter's pushing for, and I've explained earlier why she's pushing for that one. And if you have any other ideas, stitch and sewing, we've got one similar to that, Christy. It's a little bit different. I've got a great big list I've mentioned. I want to try and do a poll somehow to list all the names so then you can vote on them. Haven't worked out how to do it yet because most polls only let you add 3 or 4 choices. So if I can work out how we can do a poll that you can vote on, I'll do that and upload that here somehow. And we'll go from there. But in the meantime, if you have any other ideas, go back and listen to what we've come up with. What you're thinking of might already have been mentioned. But yeah, until then, if you can think of anything else. Yeah, well, Instagram only lets you do 3, I think. When you drop down and add, you might be able to go to 4. Doesn't let you do many. I've got a list of about 40 different options, so I'd like to be able to upload them all. They're all a little bit different, bit quirky. Yeah, so if I can work that out, we'll do that. But I think that's it for now. I'll say goodbye again. Thank you all so very, very much for joining me here today. Thank you for your input and your comments. Anything that you've commented on during the live disappears. All those comments disappear when I upload the video. Several posts. Yeah, that's an idea. Actually, you've just given me an idea, Christy. Instead of doing an actual poll on Instagram, like the poll function, I could do them on a carousel in posts and just write them all down and ask everyone to choose that. That'd work, actually, I think. That's a good idea. Thank you for that. Okay. I'm going to say hooray again. How many times is that now? Thanks again, guys. I hope you're all well. Be safe, be kind, and I'll see you here next time. Thank you again. Hooray.